and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I have another book talk video to share with you guys. And today we're going to be talking about Safe and Sound by Philippa East. This is the first book I've read by this author. I kind of picked it up on a whim because I liked the cover. I liked the title. And honestly, at the top of the book it says home can be the most dangerous place, and that was really intriguing to me. What I liked about this book, and here's how we're going to do this book talk. Here comes Trixie. She can be laying down all morning, and as soon as I start filming, she starts pacing. So how I'm going to do this book talk is there's not really going to be a lot of spoilers. I'm not going to go point by point like I do for some of these book talk videos, just because even though the pacing is fairly slow throughout the book, a lot happens, especially towards the end. And I just feel like we'd be here all day if I tried to get all the info in. So instead, I'm just going to give you a sort of basic review, give you the main synopsis, but you don't have to worry about any spoilers here. So, Safe and Sound. This book I would characterize as a psychological thriller. A thriller is not really the word. A psychological mystery, bit of mystery, definitely psychological in nature. We've got a really, really unreliable narrator here, and I love that. I love those. And the way the character is written, so her name is Jen, and the way she's written, she suffers from a lot of anxiety, and the way that she's written, you feel that anxiety as well. She has a lot of confusion, a lot of anxiety, and the way the author was able to convey that was spectacular. I felt like I was inside of Jennifer throughout this whole book. So now we have sort of three storylines happening in this book. Kind of, but definitely two. Definitely two, maybe three, depending on how you look at it. So we have Jennifer. She works at a like a property management company, and she does a lot of the move-ins and move-outs and checks, you know, safety checks, things like that, to make sure that apartments are up to code and whatnot. So that's her job, and she one day, and this is told on the back of the book, I'm not giving anything away here, but one day she goes to do a check at an apartment, and the reason she's there is because this woman hasn't paid her rent for months. And so they're going to sort of give a warning. She's going with the bailiffs to get ready for the eviction process. And she goes, and right away they can kind of tell that something's not right. And she looks through the mail slot, and she can see that the apartment is very dusty, like something's not right, and she can smell that something's not right. So they call the police, and the police come and open the door, and they find that the tenant is deceased when they go inside. So that would explain why her rent hadn't been paid, and they figure that she's been deceased for months and months. They also notice when they're in there that there's a table set for three, and she lived alone, so there's a table set for three. And that's a little strange, you know, because why wouldn't, if people had been coming, why wouldn't someone have noticed that she wasn't there or wasn't answering the door? And as time goes by, nobody's able to contact any next of kin or anyone who really seems to know anything about this girl. So Jen discovers that this woman's name was Sarah Jones, and she was very young, only like 26 or 27, and Jen kind of becomes obsessed with finding out everything that she can about Sarah, because she's really disturbed by the fact that nobody came to claim her. No family or friends were found. And it drives her to keep trying to find more and more out about Sarah. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, Jen also, we don't know what it is, but we know that Jen had something really traumatic happen to her in the past. And we also know that it kind of had something to do involving her young son, Charlie. I think Charlie's 9. And because of whatever happened, which we don't know until the very end, but because of whatever happened, Jen is extremely protective over Charlie. And a lot of that fear and anxiety that I was talking about earlier is centered around him like a cocoon. She's very much a hovering helicopter parent, to the point that it's awkward and dangerous. Or at least it feels dangerous. And we don't know why. So I will tell you, as I was reading this, and because I do read a lot of thrillers and psychological stories, I'm constantly guessing. And my mind goes to the craziest things I can think of. And I start guessing to see if I can guess the end. And I did not guess the end to this one. I guessed all kinds of things. I guessed that her son was dead and he was a ghost and she was interacting with him, but nobody else could see him. Because here's another thing. When she's out and about in the world, like say at the schoolyard or even at work, people act really strange around her. They act like she's insane. So I was like, well, that could be a reason. Maybe they see her talking to the air as though it's her son, and that's why everyone's feeling a certain way about her. But that was not the thing, which I was very glad of, because that kind of seemed like the obvious thing, but it was not that at all. So we've got the Jen and her past and her son and what's going on their storyline. Then we have the Jen as sort of private detective trying to figure out what the heck happened to Sarah's storyline. And then the third one that I was telling you about is chapters that take place in the past between two little girls, Prin and Jane. Although we know when we're reading those chapters that neither of those are those girls' last names. Prin is a nickname that her dad gave her, and Jane is a name that the little girl sort of just chose because it was her middle name. She wanted to go by that. I don't know if it was ever clarified why. So then we're trying to figure out, as we're reading through the book, where these two girls tie into the storyline. Is this third storyline related to Jen, or is this third storyline related to Sarah? And so it's just kind of, you're just always guessing. For a while I thought maybe Jen was Prin. Then for a while I thought maybe Sarah was Jane. And it kept going back and forth, me trying to guess and place where that fit together. So I will say this about this book, it kept me guessing. It kept me guessing. It kept me turning the pages wondering what the heck was going to happen. And that's always great. And yeah, like I said, I wasn't able to guess it. The endings, and I'm not even going to try to explain it to you here because it would take too long, and I feel like you really need the benefit of reading through the story in order to care about these characters, which I really did. And Jenna especially, I cared about her a lot. I worried about her a lot. And I don't know if you guys have ever watched the show Wentworth, but if you have, the whole time I was reading, I kept picturing Jen as the actress that plays Vera in Wentworth. I thought she'd be great in it. I could see her as Jen. So there you go, you guys. I would definitely recommend this if you like a good, thriller, psychological, keep you guessing sort of book. It was an easy read. It was a good read. I thought the characters were well developed. Like I said, the story moves fairly slowly. And all the info's kind of like oh my god, it's kind of clustered together at the end, which is generally how it goes. But I thought it was great. I thought it was well written and good. I would probably give it 4 stars. So there you go, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's not as in-depth or long as my regular book talks, but you really need to read this one for yourself. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Bye, guys.